The city embarked down the path of exploring the possibilities of exploiting the fiber optics that were put in the ground in the late 90s. And we've done quite a lot of work in the 5 years since we've established Vallejo Fiber. But there's more work to be done. And one of the things that needs to be done to help improve the economic development of the downtown is take the alleys as for example. I'm standing in the 400 block of Indian Alley, and every building I pass does not have fiber optics because you need building entry. The way to do it is to put a trench in the middle of the alley and send laterals out to these businesses so they have access to fiber. And if we can do that, we might as well at the same time do something about the appearance of the alleys, make them cleaner, greener, and cleaner. Thank you.
Alina, myself, and Robert Brecky bought this building about 21 years ago.
About fiber optics, and more commonly known as broadband, and how we should be broadening our efforts in that direction, especially after COVID and the underserved community that we live in. We need to do an outreach to schools, which we have made several attempts. Two council members presently, Councilmember Mina Diaz and Pippin Dew, are both making outreach to the city schools, superintendent, and we need to bring broadband to those schools. The city needs to be a partner.
To create a downtown district of small incubator businesses such that local high school kids can become interns. I used to teach at-risk high school kids in Vallejo, and we need to get this going.
Oh, Catherine Scott, CMS.
Thank you. What do you have to say, Catherine, to the City Council?
I feel genuinely compelled to recommend fiber optics for at least a portion, like a block or half a block or 5 blocks of fiber optics in Vallejo, particularly around the Temple Artist Lofts or some of the other lofts right in the middle of the art community. Thank you so much. Go for it. Make it real, and that's the way of the future.
This is your alley.
All right, so here we are. Anyway, I'm going to introduce myself to everyone. My name is Greg Goins. I'm one of the downtown stakeholders. I believe in everything that's good for the city of Vallejo. It's people, it's resources, and one of them is broadband, fiber optic cable that sits underneath about 28 miles of city streets. And a group was formed about 7 years ago called the Vallejo Community Fiber Optic Network. And what we attempted to do was learn about fiber optic cable, its importance to the community, how it can be used. You know, what's the big deal? What's the big deal about cable that runs underneath the ground? You know, you say, well, big deal, you know. You got 28 miles of it. Well, initially it was put into the ground to support the traffic signal system. And it just sat there, and a fellow named Dennis Brinson discovered this and started trying to shout and say, hey, we need to do something about this. So Daniel King, the former city manager, under the direction of the Vallejo City Council, formed our group. And we got to study and learn everything about fiber optic cable. And it is really a huge deal. We had many different organizations, AT&T, Verizon, all these huge players come and talk to us. And I remember the AT&T presentation because it was so disrespectful and actually called our group stupid. We're even attempting to utilize and try to get the fiber optic cable underneath the ground working to promote commercial enterprise. So it is a big deal. We're standing right here in Indian Alley, which I know Chris Platzer's talked about his pet project of trenching and putting the fiber down and then butting up to each individual building, so then buildings can then be wired and people will come and they will really appreciate using the broadband to promote commercial successes, promote high-speed internet, just able to do a lot of things with it. So it's a big, big deal, and the city has to use it wisely. You can't give it away. You can't give it away to AT&T. Can't give it away to Verizon. We need to keep it in our wheelhouse. Inyo Networks and Praxis, Rob Volker, are very well qualified and understand the issues of broadband and what it means. So we've got to keep that going. And anybody else that thinks differently doesn't get it. Thank you.